Hello geographers, and welcome to the Mr. Sinn channel. In this video, we're going to be looking at the differences between expansion diffusion and relocation diffusion. We'll also be talking about some different types of diffusion, such as hierarchical, contagious, and stimulus. If this is your first time watching Mr. Sinn video, welcome. Hopefully you find value in this content. If you do, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Also, while watching the video, make sure to take notes. You can use my notes, which you can find in the description below, or you can use your own notes. By taking notes, you'll be active in your learning and you'll be able to remember all the important information. Now, we are going to be going into all the different types of diffusion. And first, we have to understand what a hearth is. A hearth is going to be important because this is going to come up throughout your entire class of AP Human Geography. A hearth is where our origin is. This is where something starts. So whenever we're talking about a hearth, just know that that's the origin point. This is where our idea, the group of people, the clothing, whatever it is, whatever item or topic we're talking about, a hearth is where it starts. And diffusion is just the spread of. So when we diffuse, we spread out. We have an idea go somewhere. We have items go somewhere, or people even move. So a hearth is the origin point, and with diffusion, we're talking about the spread of things. Now there's two main types of diffusion. We have relocation diffusion, and we have expansion diffusion. Now relocation diffusion is when we have a particular item or a group of people that is going to just move locations. And the hearth actually becomes weaker because of it. See, what's happening here is this group just physically picks up and moves to a different area. So the hearth starts to die off. In some cases, it completely dies off, and there's no longer that original hearth. And the entire idea, topic, people, whatever it is, has moved on. Now, that is relocation. Expansion diffusion is different because our hearth is going to remain strong, and it's not going to die off. And there's different types of expansion diffusion. Now, we're going to go into all those right now, but it's going to be important for you to remember the differences between expansion and relocation, particularly with the hearth. In relocation, the hearth is going to become weaker, and in expansion, the hearth will remain strong. So let's actually get into expansion diffusion now, which is, again, we're going to spread outwards from the hearth. And we have to get into the different types of expansion diffusion, starting with hierarchical. Really quick, before we get into hierarchical, another tip for remembering the difference between relocation and expansion diffusion, just think about numbers. Now, whatever we're talking about with the diffusion of whatever item, group of people, culture, food, doesn't matter. The amount of people who are consuming it, using it, practicing it, if we're not seeing an increase in the number, then it's probably going to be relocation. Because relocation, we're not adding people to it. Expansion, however, we are expanding. We're getting more people using it. And so expansion, we're going to see more people adopting whatever thing we're talking about, and the base will grow. Hierarchical diffusion is a form of expansion diffusion. Now, this type of diffusion is a top-down approach. Think of actually social media influencers. They, a lot of times, promote new trends. So what happens is companies will go to these social media influencers. They'll talk to them about, hey, will you promote our product? Will you show off our fashion line? Will you talk about this particular item? And then they agree to do it. Then they talk about on their channel, whatever it may be, if it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. But then normal everyday people follow it, watch it, and then they start to get new trends. See, information is going from a top-down approach. It's not diffusing all over the place. Certain people spread the information on, and then those people spread it on from there. Fashion, a lot of times, gets put in this category. Another way to think about it, think about how fashion trends work. For the most part, they start in big urban areas. Then they spread throughout the community and eventually spread throughout the country. It doesn't start in the farm area or in a small town. It starts in a larger urban area, particularly on one of the coasts that has connections to Europe or other areas around the world that has these trends happening. So hierarchical, just remember, top-down approach. You can even see a great visual right over here of how hierarchical diffusion happens. We can see we have these top points and they spread the information down. And then from there on, it gets spread down again. So hierarchical, top-down approach. Our next type of expansion diffusion can best be summarized with a viral video.
I like turtles. All right, you're great zombie.
Something that goes very quickly and it diffuses throughout society. And there's not a lot of barriers stopping it. It diffuses in all directions to all people. No one is restricted from access to the content. It's not going from a top-down approach like hierarchical is. We can see a great visual right here, where we can see the center point, our hearth, and it's spreading in all directions. Here, the idea, the topic, whatever we're talking about, is going all over the place, and everyone has access to it. When you're thinking of contagious diffusion, think of a viral video or a viral tweet, something that spreads fast and it goes to everyone. No one is kept out of the loop from the information. Our last diffusion type is stimulus diffusion. Now, a lot of students get tripped up on this and they get confused, but you don't have to worry. What you need to think about with this one is our original idea is expanding, but it is being altered. See, as things grow and as things move around the world, we start to see changes happen because cultures and people are different all over the place. So a lot of times we have the merging of different ideas, and we'll start to see then their original idea has shifted, it's changed. A great example of this is look at restaurants, particularly even fast food, ones that are located all over the world. For the most part, they change. McDonald's is a great example. McDonald's in the United States is very different throughout the entire country in the United States, but even throughout the whole world. In certain countries, they don't even have beef because that country doesn't have particularly people who are consuming beef. So they have to change their menu to adapt to the society. So stimulus diffusion is a great example here because the McDonald's menu changes. Even the layout of the stores change and the aesthetics on the outside. They alter their locations to best represent the society that they're located in. So that original idea is still there. It's still McDonald's. However, it has changed as it's diffused to better fit the different societies that it's located in. And that's a great example of stimulus diffusion. This was a really quick look at the different types of diffusions. Remember, relocation, our hearth shrinks, sometimes dies off, and we're not seeing an increase in number. Expansion diffusion, the hearth is expanding outwards. People are adapting the idea. We're seeing more people add on to this concept. And expansion diffusion has hierarchical diffusion, contagious diffusion, and stimulus diffusion, where we're seeing the ideas shift and change, and we're seeing this growth with whatever topic we're talking about. Hopefully this video helps you understand these concepts better. If you liked the video and you found value in it, please consider subscribing and check out some of the other great AP Human Geography resources I have on the channel.